First of all, with the distance, what do you think about the experience you had with your solo band, New Earth Mud?
I had an incredible experience, to me, it's, people would say like, oh, was it hard to leave the Black Crowes for a while? And I always go, no, it was amazing, just because, like anything else, 10 years on the road with the Black Crowes was a very dramatic, intense experience. It still is. But, I had to leave and learn some other things and say some other things, The Black Crowes are a collaboration. And even though the New Earth Mud, I wrote with other people and, worked with Paul Stacey and stuff like that, it was nice for me, at least, to be able to make a musical statement that was specifically my own. To start to find myself as a writer and my voice is what I wanted to say. Because with the Black Crowes, like I said, it's a big dynamic with a lot of people, a lot of stuff going on. Yeah.
Okay, and yeah, as far as the reunion with the Black Crowes, when the idea came and how it came,
Well, I don't think that I ever really thought we wouldn't play with each other. Because it's just too unique of an experience, and it was not just for us, but for, I think, the audience also, Now, within that, whether it was going to be 4 years, 5 years, 10 years, whatever, one of the main things that happened was my brother and I, some friends asked us to play together at an event in New York at Madison Square Garden, or the theater underneath Madison Square. This thing called the Jammies or whatever, like all these bands and stuff. And we sang our song "Sometimes Salvation," and we hadn't played or talked in a long time, and it felt good, And I think that kind of got the ball rolling.
Why not?
And just seemed like it was probably time, to get back into it and see where it leads us, And it took 3 years to lead us to Warpaint, Yeah. Time gets much different when you get a little bit older,
Yeah.
When you're young, it seems as if, everything is happening, everything's new, first off, your career or whatever, you don't really think about that when you're a kid, but, so eventually you get a little more patient and your perspective changes and you can, 3 years goes by and it was nothing to me, maybe on the outside it might look different. But, I think at least, I think I always knew deep down that we would play some more and that there was more music to make,
Okay, and you released Warpaint on your own label, Silver Arrow Record, because you were upset of the whole major label thing, or?
Well, not so much upset. I mean, well, we've always been upset at major labels. I think more than ever, what the future of the music business is ownership. The one thing about the Black Crowes is we always realize that this is our life, and we had a hard time having people tell us what to do, just so they can make more money. We always realize, like, if someone in a record company is telling you how to be, how to look, what to sound like, what to do, and then it fails, that's your responsibility.
Yeah.
They don't care. They tell everybody what to do. But we always felt, and that's why it made our life a little bit more, problematic, maybe as kids, because we felt that it's our band, we'll do it our way. But we were influenced by artists that were like that. Whether it's John Coltrane or Neil Young or Willie Nelson or Waylon Jennings or the Grateful Dead or whoever. You know, we like the people who said, no, we're doing this because this is what we feel. And people will tell you your whole life, you can't do that. Don't do that. You can't do that. Don't do that. We wouldn't be here talking today if I had listened to any of those people. And part of what Silver Ale Records is just, you know, now that the music business is kind of over, it's perfect opportunity for people like us. Because we're self-sufficient, you know, we'll pick up our little gypsy camp and move on down the road and we'll take care of our own. I like that. We can be responsible for ourselves without having to count on anyone else. Okay. Or the other thing is about, I mean, the reality of the economics of the thing is you owe them money, you know? We used to spend hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars on records and videos and just shit. That's just the way everyone did it. And now, you know, it's like, oh, okay. You know, you don't have to do any of those systematic things that don't benefit your process and what you want to say. And how you get it to your audience. Unadulterated, pure Black Crowes rock and roll music, you know, without anybody stepping on it.
Okay. And you get there was some new song on the Brother of a Feather live album, but they're not in the Warpaint album. And I also heard about new songs on the Reunion tour. And so what did you scrap all those songs for?
I mean, you know, conceptually I thought it would just be better to, you know, I was looking for a musical statement, Rich and I, to make as the writing that was all new. I didn't want to revisit anything. And that's pretty much what happened, you know. I mean, another reason it took a little while. You know, Rich was over here, I was this, we're trying to figure out all this stuff. And last spring of 2007, you know, Rich sends me like 15 pieces of music. And I was like, this is the album. You know, because we were looking, I was thinking we need to make a roots music statement about, in a sense, about how we feel about America. You know, the reason to be playing roots rock and roll music is because it's an American thing, but no one's really talking about it or doing it. You know, like we want to explore like modern themes and modern anxiety and angst and loss and betrayal and whatever through this kind of music, you know. And I don't think we could do that by picking a piece from a couple years ago or picking, we didn't use this on Amorica, like, remember that, you know. No, we got to make, it has to be now, and it has to all be in the present.
Okay. And yeah, you were talking about so the content of the record. Is there like a political message behind it, or because it seems like a light album, but you can see like there's something a bit political maybe behind.
Well, I mean, it's about freedom, you know. I mean, it's about freedom, removing yourself from corporate constraints. It's about being able to understand and feel a connection with other people who, you know, who turned off their TVs, man. You know, who aren't looking for the newest, coolest, trendiest thing. You know, it's about deeper meaning, and it's about those kind of emotional connections that you can have with music. The politics of that are very simple. You know, we've spent a long time with people running the United States and, in a sense, making policies for the rest of the world, and they run their mouths about freedom. Well, we have our own ideas about freedom. You know what I mean? Freedom's a two-way street, man. And some of these people don't understand that. And it doesn't make it any easier. I'm not saying that it's easy at all, actually. It's a very hard thing, and it's a different sort of path to take. But that's the one we've been given, and that's the one we're going to continue to do. So our politics, I think, are more anarchists in that way, cultural anarchists, just because we're not concerned with other stuff. We're concerned with our process again. We're concerned with our writing. What are we saying? And the thing is, it's about counterculture in that way. And there's a lot of things on the album that only people who live the way we live would know what we're talking about. And that's kind of cool too, like you have to know the lingo, man.
And there seems also to be like not a religious message, but you get songs like God's Got It or Work Believer Work on this record. So is there some religious content or allusion?
No. If you're gonna make a roots record, personally, I find organized religion to probably be the cause of most of the psychic ills and pains in the history of mankind. Mm-hmm. Dogma and control. That's hardly freedom. I would think of myself as a spiritual person. But, God's Got It is, to me it works because we are God. Our combined and shared experience makes us God consciousness. And that's why and if we can take an old gospel song or an old blues song that contains a lot of stuff that goes all the way back to Africa, where God meant something very different than to white Europeans, but then where those things combine, and it's really just words at that point, and if your feeling can take over there, then you start to feel like, okay, well, God does have it. You know why he has it? Because we have it in the power of our minds and our heart and our souls, and where those things combine and connect and are focused.
There's a song called Oh Josephine. So who's Josephine?
Josephine is more of a...
Not someone in particular, I guess.
No. It's more. I find that song to be more. It could be anybody. Not just for me, but for and it's more of about a feeling. You know what I mean? It's almost more like it could be a ghost. You know what I mean? It could be anything. I think the idea, what the thing about Josephine really more is, what the song really says is love's not enough. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit of a song about all the things that you have to climb up above to find love sometimes. But it's a rock and roll song. You know what I mean? It's about early in the morning after a long late night. And it's about seeing that sunrise in a different way than you used to see it. It's also about believing that, you're not going to find love and you're not going to find those things unless you can leave it all behind, all your fear and all your... and other people's opinions, Other people look down on you for wanting to be free. Josephine in that sense is, love, but symbolic.
Okay. And I think your vocal performance on this record is really, really great. And especially on the song called There's Gold in Them Hills, where your voice is really soulful and really deep.
Thanks.
Profound. So what's the subject of this song?
Well, it's a little bit of a song about someone that comes. It's a song about the gold rush in a sense. Like somebody gets a flyer and they want to move out to California to become rich, but it could be people in a band, and things get weird down in the mines, There's gold in them hills could be like, it could be San Francisco in the, in the 1800s, or it could be LA in the 90s. It's about the journey, and it's about survival in a sense.
Okay. And it seems you can do any more record without Paul Stacey.
Let's don't write that. He doesn't speak French, but if he hears that, it'll go straight to his head. I agree. I think that like anything else, there's great people to work with, but I would agree with you, at least right now, in terms of where the Black Crowes are. I think none of this happens without Paul Stacey, without his unique gift as a producer and as a musician.
in help you on the road on the guitar, I guess, before
Yeah,
recording.
yeah. That's it. You know what I mean? I mean, he got a very different perspective because he did 2 full tours with the band as our lead guitarist. Besides the fact that I've worked with Paul over the years and we've been very close friends, you know, I produce records also. It's a very different mindset. To be able to get a lot of different personalities and egos and
Yeah.
things in a room and to set the mood, you know. Because then you have to deal also, Paul is, I think he's the best right now in terms of his sonic plays. What it just sounds like, tonality. He's the best mixer, I think, out there right now in terms of like rock music. At least the stuff I like. He's organic and he's soulful and he's clever. All of these things at one time, you know, and that's I think that's what makes him so interesting as a producer and as a musician, you know. But in his role as a producer, yeah, he set the stage for us to go in and make this record very quickly. We made the record in 3 weeks, you know.
Lions and By Your Side, I really mixed opinions at the time, and so what with the distance, what is your opinion on those 2 records?
Well, I think there's really the best things on those records are still very good, you know, and there's songs that are still very popular in our repertoire. Soul singing, you know, without Lions we don't get soul singing, and you know, By Your Side was maybe a tough record at the time for me. That would be a time where the Black Crowes maybe had let people get in our ear. But then again, there's songs on that record that I'm very proud of too. Welcome to the Good Times, we play a lot, and Horsehead and Diamond Ring, and you know, like anything else, there's moments on that record that I really appreciate, and that those things resonate in our stuff.
And how was it to work with Kevin Shirley on this record?
It was just different for us. Not a good fit, you know. I don't think it's Kevin's fault at all. He's more of a corporate sort of by the numbers kind of producer, and we're a bunch of freaks.
Just didn't click.
We clicked a little, but not enough. But, you know, if you're lucky enough to have a long career and make many records, some records are going to be better than others. I mean, the Rolling Stones made Emotional Rescue, and no one's hassling them.
Sure.
Let me just compare the Black Crowes to the Rolling Stones.
And Jimmy Page toured with you nearly a decade ago, and there was this live, the Live at the Greek.
That was nearly a decade ago. Jesus Christ.
And I know all the Black Crow songs have been, you cannot use it for legal reason on the live, and so do you think one day you will get the full performance on
I'd like it. Yeah, I'd love for it to be that way. Yeah, definitely. Luckily for everyone, that's why they have the internet, and you can hear them all bootlegged. That's fine with me too. I'd rather not make it. It doesn't matter to me if I make any money off of it, as long as the people who didn't allow us to use our song. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Eventually it'll come out, I guess. You know, all that stuff. It was very cool. I guess you can watch it on YouTube.
And talk about Jimmy, have you watched the reunion gig in London?
I wasn't there, but Steve, our drummer, went. And yeah, it seemed like a very cool, everyone had a great time from what I hear. I was happy for them.